HannaTalk.
What's going on, everybody? Simon here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to HannaTalk, the one place for reviews, interviews, and stuff in the world of pop culture. Hope everyone is doing fantastic and hope everyone had an amazing Christmas and New Year. Happy 2026, everybody. So, as you can see, even though I happen to be wearing a Jurassic Park TV t-shirt over here, I said TV shirt, I don't know why I said that. But this is not meant to be a Jurassic Park video. This is meant to be all about Lara Croft Tomb Raider, specifically for the TV show that Amazon Prime is developing, because we just got our first official look at Sophie Turner as Lara Croft. So before we start getting into reacting to the first look, let's get into a bit of history, not a full-on history video, but just a little bit of history on Tomb Raider and what the character is all about. So let's get right into it, shall we? So if you guys have absolutely no idea about Tomb Raider or Lara Croft Tomb Raider, it was a character that originally started, or the concept for the Tomb Raider series started back in the mid 90s, in 1994 to be exact, from Core Design, a British game development studio, and one of the people that was involved in its creation was Toby Gard, sorry, excuse me, who was also responsible for creating the character of Lara Croft and developing her into the character that many people will know today. Effectively, think of Lara Croft as like a female version of Indiana Jones. And this is a character has a lot of history from a lot of different games, from moving from one gaming studio to another over the years. But just to actually start off with the very first games, or like all the games across the entire franchise history, starting in 1996 with the first Tomb Raider game, which was actually my introduction to the Tomb Raider franchise as a whole when I started playing it in the early 2000s at that time. Then going into 1997, Tomb Raider number 2, 1998, Tomb Raider 3, 1999, Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, and then, of course, going into the early 2000s with Tomb Raider Chronicles, Curse of the Sword, The Prophecy, and The Angel of Darkness. And then going into the mid 2000s, from 2000, starting in 2004, and then going to 2013 with Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider Anniversary, Tomb Raider Underworld, and Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. Then going into 2013 was the reboot series with Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And then, of course, we end up having the remastered editions in the Tomb Raider Reloaded Lara Croft collection, which was basically remastered editions of the first three games and then 4, 5, and 6 after that. And now, this year, we're supposed to be getting Legacy of Atlantis, and we're also supposed to be getting another Tomb Raider game next year in Catalyst. So, as you can hear, there's already been a lot of history with Tomb Raider as a franchise, and of course, with the character of Lara Croft in terms of her history, the backstory of the character, and also just a bit. So it's led to a lot of inconsistencies in terms of the story and the backstory from how many times it's been rebooted, because depending on the writers and, of course, the developers in the game. So, what I'm expecting for this series in particular is to pull from a lot of different aspects from the games, not just in terms of like Lara Croft's history and her backstory, but just pretty much in terms of the general aesthetic, though, in terms of the story and Easter eggs for a lot of the longtime fans. So, but if you want to get a really good start for what Tomb Raider feels like, definitely play the first original games. But I would highly also recommend the 2013 Tomb Raider games. They were my full Tomb Raider playing experience. They were fantastic, especially that first game. It was amazing. But now that we got that out of the way, a little bit of history out of the way, which, by the way, I will get into posting a video in the description below for anyone that wants to go a little deeper into the history of Tomb Raider. I'll post some videos in the description below for anyone that wants to check that out. Now let's get into the first look of Sophie Turner as Lara Croft. So they've already dropped the first look of Sophie Turner, and she looks fantastic. As you can see from the look of hers, it's meant to give off a lot of aesthetic of the original Tomb Raider games, from her build right down to the clothing itself, from the blue singlet to the shorts to the red glasses, which I know gives off a lot of John Lennon vibes, but these are actually meant to be right out of the original games. And of course, the two handguns, which are synonymous with the character. So it's meant to, as I said, it's meant to give off a lot of aesthetic for the original games. So it sounds like they're pulling a lot from those first original games from the 90s for the basis of the series. But as I said, I'm expecting them to pull a lot from every single one of the games for Easter eggs for longtime fans, but also as a way to create their own story out of that. Because I'm not expecting them to pull anything story related or base the series off of any one of the games as far as story is concerned. But that's just my opinion, though. But honestly, she looks fantastic. But Sophie Turner has been talking a fair bit about the series, where she had this to say back in September last year, saying, "I'm thrilled beyond measure to be playing Lara Croft. She's such an iconic character who means so much to so many, and I'm giving everything I've got. They're massive shoes to fill." Following the steps of Angelina and Alicia, obviously talk about Angelina Jolie and Alicia Vikander. I apologize if I mispronounce the name there, who was from the 2018 Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie with their powerhouse performances, but with Phoebe at the helm, we and Lara are all in very safe hands. I can't wait for you all to see what we have cooking. So obviously this is talking about Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is the showrunner, one of the showrunners for the TV show. You might remember her from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for her work on No Time to Die, as well as the Fleabag series. So she's a pretty solid actress and a really solid writer. I absolutely loved her in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, so I was really excited to see her working on this show. So it sounds like it's going to be a really solid result based on this first look. Next big question that's on everyone's mind, who have they also cast in this series? They just confirmed the first other cast members, or the first two biggest casts, and they're huge gets actually, in Jason Isaacs, who's playing Lara Croft's uncle, Atlas de Mornay. You might also remember Jason Isaacs from the Harry Potter movies as Lucius Malfoy, and recently from the White Lotus series. He is a fantastic actor, so I cannot wait to see him. Next big actor they've also confirmed is Sigourney Weaver as Evelyn Wallace, who's described in the series as a mysterious high-flying woman who is keen to exploit Lara's talents. So based on the description for her character, it sounds like she's going to be one of the antagonistic forces in this series, maybe even more so the main villain. You don't cast an actress like Sigourney Weaver if you don't expect her to have a lot of fun in this. You might remember Sigourney Weaver from the Alien movies and of course from the Avatar films, since we just had Avatar Fire and Ash recently. And of course, we're about to see Sigourney Weaver in the Star Wars universe in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out this year. So I cannot wait to see her in this. She is fantastic. So I'm really excited to see what she's going to play in this series. The other castings they've confirmed is Bill Patterson, who you will remember from the Halo series, and of course from the Fleabag series, which was produced and created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So it's kind of a bit of a reunion between the two of them in this case. And he's also known from roles such as The Witches, Miss Potter, and How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. And he's supposed to be playing Winston in the series, who's the Croft family butler, who for a lot of longtime Lara Croft fans will remember from the original games where you shoot down the butler and he falls down and then picks himself up and dusts himself off and just gets back to his normal routine like it's no big deal. Let me know in the comments if you ever did that in the original series. I know I certainly did. And I'm really hoping in the series that they have an Easter egg for that. That would be hilarious and amazing at the same time. Other big casting they've confirmed is Martin Bob Semple as Zip. You will remember the actor from All American Homecoming and One of Us, and he's described in the series as Lara Croft's long-standing tech support and friend. They've also confirmed Jack Bennon as Jerry, and you will remember Jack Bennon from the Alfred Pennyworth TV show Pennyworth, and also from the TV show Pulse and The Imitation Game, and he's described in the series as Lara's personal pilot and snack collector. They've also confirmed John Heffernan as David, who's described as an exhausted government official who finds himself tangled up in Laura's unusual world. And you might remember the actor from the show Dickenstein, as well as Crooked House, Official Secrets, and Eye in the Sky. So based on the description for his character, it sounds like he's going to play into a bit of the comedy, but also somehow play as somewhat of an antagonist to Laura in this case, because it sounds like she's going to have a lot of antagonists from all across different aspects of her life, with her being an archaeologist and in her personal life as well. But I'm also expecting him to also act as an unlikely ally in the context of the series. Celia Imray as Francine, who is described as head of advancement in the British Museum, focused solely on raising funds and glasses of champagne. You will remember the actress from the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, Imagine Me and You, Calendar Girls, and Frankenstein. Pattison Joseph as Warner, who you will remember from the Wonka movie, which was a fantastic movie, by the way, the Timothy Chalamet film. That was amazing. The Beach, and Aeon Flux, who was described in the series as a senior government official brought in to clean up an almighty mess. It sounds like for his character, he's going to end up being one of the, as explained about before, the different antagonists across Lara's life. It sounds like he's going to be one of the antagonists in the series, but will somehow come around by the end of the series. If it sounds like it's going to get more than one season, which it sounds like it will, the next big casting they confirmed is Sasha Lars as Sasha, who you will remember from Latency, Anna, Shirios, and Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, who's described in the series as a fierce, deeply competitive new adversary of Lara's. Juliet Mutamed as Georgia, who's described as a devoted, by the books curator at the British Museum dedicated to the proper preservation of history. You will remember the character who played Karina in 3 episodes of the Halo TV show, which was fantastic, by the way, even though a lot of people had mixed results against that show. I personally thought it was fantastic, but she's also appeared in Magic Mike's Last Dance and the TV show Grace. And the other casting they confirmed is August Jenston, I apologize if I mispronounced the name there, as Lucas, who's described in the series as an illegal raider who shares history with Lara in more ways than one. And he's also known from shows such as Faithless, Das Boot, and The Crown. So already off to the series, they've got a huge cast of characters, some of them from the games, and also some of them sound like original creations for the series. Next big thing is, of course, on the story. They haven't revealed any details about the story, but as I explained about before, they're going to be pulling from a lot of different aspects from every one of the games to create an original story from this. But obviously based on Sophie Turner's first look, they'll use the first games as the aesthetic for that first for the first series. But as for what they're going to do past this first season, what I'm really hoping that they get to do is more like an anthology series where we just get to see Lara exploring going a lot of different places, being an archaeologist, and kind of having one-off adventures from one season to another. That's just my opinion, though. But let me know in the comments below, what are you most excited about to see in the series? It honestly looks fantastic. And the reason they dropped this first look is because they're starting production on the series right now. So I'm expecting them to drop a trailer at the end of this year, and we'll end up seeing the series, unless there's like a strike happening like you'd expect in Hollywood, to get released by sometime next year. And also, my other question is, what do you want to see them do as far as video game adaptations are concerned? I would love to see them do an Uncharted TV show, and I would also love to see them do a Legacy of Kain movie or TV show. That would be fantastic. And let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more videos like this. I will get into doing videos on like reviews I've done in the past. For anyone that's been on my channel for a long time, that I've done the written reviews in the past, I will get into doing video reviews on all the stuff I posted in the past and new stuff going forward, and as well as stuff that's been talking about in the last few years, whether that's the Legend of Zelda movie, the new Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out this year, Star Wars, which, by the way, Dave Filoni is now officially one of the Kevin Feige of Star Wars going forward. This is fantastic news. And of course, don't forget, we've got the Fallout TV show, Season 2, happening this year. We're going to have the God of War series coming out because they just officially cast their version of Kratos for the live action series, and it looks fantastic. And of course, we've got the Harry Potter TV show happening. But let me know in the comments below what videos you want me to do going forward. Hope everyone has been enjoying this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, check out the links below, and don't forget to check out the links in my channel as well. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. This is Simon, signing off. Bye for now.